Hi again, YouTube. Today I was going to be making some meatballs to put up in the freezer, so I thought I'd bring you along. I'm going to be actually combining two recipes. I have been using the meatball recipe out of this cookbook right here on page 27. I don't know if you can see that picture in there or not. But it calls for a pound of ground beef and half a pound of ground pork. Well, I've got about a pound of each in here. I'm going to add some seasoned breadcrumbs, and it calls for salt and pepper. It also calls for medium onion. My husband does not like onion, so I'm very rare I can put onion in anything. I could probably just grind it up till it's just next to nothing and sneak it in there, maybe, but I just rather keep the peace. So I will add some onion powder in there to give it a little bit of an onion flavor from me. And as I said, I'm combining recipes, so I'm going to be trying some of the extra stuff out of a recipe from Deep South Dish. It's a website. She also has a cookbook. But I'm going to be putting a little milk in there. There's the milk. Worcestershire sauce. And an egg. And I'm probably going to add a little extra garlic in here. So, don't be afraid to experiment with seasonings that you or your family like. I usually try to make a recipe for the first time by following the recipe directly, but in this case I kind of know what we're looking for in meatballs. So the one in the Farmer's Cookbook, it's really good, and we liked it, but I think I can make them better, so I thought that's why I was going to combine this one with that one and see how we come out. So as you can see, I've already got my meat in here. I'm going to start adding stuff, and let's see, we're going to do a half a cup of breadcrumbs next, quarter cup of milk, 1 egg, the salt, pepper, and Worcestershire. So once I get that all mixed up, I'll bring you back to show you what it looks like. Alright, I've got my spices in there. I forgot to tell you about the parsley flakes. The Deep South Dish recipe called for parsley flakes, so I added those in there. I've got my egg beat. Got everything in there. Now I've got my milk in there too. You can't see it. It's kind of sunk down to the bottom there. So here goes the egg. And we're fixing to get mushy and dirty here. Because the only way to mix this is by hand. Get it in there, just get in there and mix really good. And since I actually had 2 pounds of meat, I may end up adding some more breadcrumbs and maybe another egg. Just going to have to see how this is, and this is really cold. So far it's looking pretty good, but anyway, I want to get this mixed in really good. I'm not going to sit here and make you watch this, or maybe I'll just speed it up, because now that my hands are messy, it's going to be really hard to turn off the camera without getting egg and ground pork and ground beef all over everything. So I end up running my battery out. So, okay, I'm seeing some stuff that you just really got to get in there and work this, and all I can say is this is the best way to do this. Just by hand. And yes, it's messy, so just be prepared to get a little messy. And I might should have prepared some extra breadcrumbs, so I didn't have to get we're okay with that. I add just a little bit more breadcrumb as a binder there, but it's sticking together pretty well here, so I'm kind of happy with the consistency on this. Now you can cook these 2 different ways. You can fry them up in a skillet with a little oil, or you can put them on a baking sheet and cook them in the oven. And that's what I'm going to do. It's actually not so horribly hot here. We've had a week of rain. My garden has hated every bit of it. At first it was fine, it needed the rain, but okay, we're ready to see some sunshine now. I hadn't seen it in a week, and I actually see it peeking out there right now. So, alright, so as you can see, I'm nice and messy. I've got this to the consistency I want it. So I'm going to wash up and put this other stuff away and get my tray out, and then we're going to get messy again. So I'll bring you back when we're ready to do that. Alright, got this all mixed up. I got my oven preheating, so I'm going to start mixing my, you know what, I should have probably sprayed that first. We'll use a little coconut oil on there. Try to keep them from sticking too bad. Not a whole lot. Okay, so if you like pretty good sized meatballs, I'm going to roll that out like so. Doesn't have to be perfect. That looks pretty good to me. And they're not all going to be uniform or anything like that, but try to keep them close to the same size so you have the same cooking. Get done all of them will get done the same. This is, for somebody who doesn't like to get their hands dirty cooking, this is not the recipe to do, but I'm going to finish getting these formed out into balls and on the tray, and we'll bring you back when they're ready for the oven. Okay, there you go. I ended up getting pretty much almost 2 trays out of this. I probably could have put a couple more on that smaller tray. But I'm going to put these in the oven at 350 degrees for 25 to 30 minutes is what it says. I'm going to check on them in about 15. My oven cooks a little differently. I have to kind of watch things and turn them to make sure I get even cooking on stuff. So we're going to get these cooked, and we'll bring you back when we've got them out of the oven. Okay, here's our finished product. I'm just going to run through the recipe again of what I put in it. This is 1 pound of ground beef, 1 pound of ground pork, half a cup of seasoned breadcrumbs, 1 teaspoon of salt, 1/4 teaspoon of pepper, a tablespoon of parsley flakes, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 1 teaspoon plus some extra shakes of Worcestershire sauce because we like it, and half a teaspoon of onion powder. And if anybody can tell me how to keep your onion powder from clumping up, please, please, please let me know. Got a 1/4 cup of milk, 1 egg beaten, mixed well, formed the meatballs, and I put them in the oven at 350 for 25 to 30 minutes. I kind of flip my trays around for more even baking. The last 5 minutes I also flipped them over completely so it kind of have an more even brownness on them. Now I also like to make meatballs with deer meat, and if I would probably still use, I definitely need to add the ground beef to deer meat because deer meat is so lean. You need that extra fat in it. I would probably still do half a pound of pork, ground pork in there as well whenever I do those. And the only reason I didn't do deer meat today is I didn't thaw out a package of it. And plus, I only have it in 2-pound packages, and I wasn't up to doing that many meatballs. So you can use deer meat in this. Just add ground beef, at least a little ground beef to it to give it the fat to help hold together, and it doesn't shrink up to nothing. I'm going to flash freeze these for about 5 or 10 minutes, and then I'm going to put them in food saver bags and stick them in my freezer for future use. Thank you for watching. Happy cooking, and God bless.